how's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Krampus The Return, or as IMDb listed, The Return of Krampus. Not really sure why they flipped the title around, but whatever, same difference, right? This is from 2022, directed by David Gregory, and stars Natasha Rose Mills, Charlie Esquire, and Dan Robbins. But we can see with the title saying Krampus The Return, some people might think that this is a sequel to the Mike Dougherty film, which it of course is not. Basically, the idea is Krampus is a real folklore character, thus he's public domain, and thus anyone and everyone can make their own Krampus movies, and you think, okay, that's cool, a horror franchise that anyone can contribute to. Well, sadly, they pretty much all suck, and if you guys know of a Krampus movie that is even halfway decent, let me know, but a lot of them are just lazy factory films. And this one, if you guys are fans of low-budget, direct-to-video horror, you probably know what I'm gonna say. Low-budget, low-effort, modern British horror. I mean, we have factory films in the States too, but boy, whenever you hear that British accent in an independent film, you start to get a red flag. I don't know what kind of weird tax loophole or whatever they got going on over there, but we've been flooded with these, and they're almost all the same. Basically, they pick some very stock and cliched drama. It never goes anywhere or evolves, but you're going to get the characters talking about it because talking is one of the cheaper ways to fill out a runtime, and the movie will occasionally be interrupted by a super low-effort horror movie. It's not great. These are factory films, they're cranked out, and no one cares. But one of the movie's biggest sins is it really doesn't understand the original Krampus. Basically, the idea with Krampus is that both horror and Christmas are magical and fun and over the top, but one is sugary and positive, and one is dark and scary and has an edge to it. Comedy, Christmas, horror, they all mash together and give us Mike Dougherty's really great original film. This one is almost the exact opposite. Rather than being fun and energetic, this is boring and depressing, and that's really one thing I want to hit on. In this movie, the main character is dealing with her brother's apparent suicide, and that is a dark and weighty subject matter. But when you go in expecting a Krampus film with evil toys and evil gingerbread men and wacky Cousin Eddie style characters, and then you get a film about suicide, that is not what we wanted at all, really. So in addition to being boring and going nowhere, it's super depressing. So yeah, I can't recommend this really at all. It's not a good Krampus movie. I don't know if, other than the real one, if there are any. But that being said, I guess in order to analyze this further, let's talk a bit about the plot. I'll be avoiding the end bits, so no major spoilers, but I do want to break down and talk about a few things and talk about some stuff that doesn't work. So without further ado, let's dive in. We open up with a stupid prologue. This guy talks about how Krampus and his army went to war with humans, and Krampus beat all the humans, and they had to make sacrifices to him for like 400 years or something. It's comical that this doesn't really come up in the plot later. The Krampus lore is super vague, so for them to open with this complex, like, Lord of the Rings intro, and then to never pay that off, we're off to a great start here. But then we open up with Prologue Guy. Prologue Guy is nervous and anxious, and he calls his sister on the phone, and his sister's like, "Oh, I have plans with friends." And he's like, "It's the 20-year anniversary of our parents' death. I really need someone here." And she goes, "I'll see you on Boxing Day." Whatever Boxing Day is, I don't know. But yeah, his sister blows him off, And then Krampus shows up and puts the shotgun to his head and makes a fake suicide so no one knows that Krampus is really the murderer. Well, I should mention Krampus's look here. If you see a still frame of him, he might look okay. Big sharp teeth, big horns, you know, classic Krampus look, right? The only problem is when you see him moving, it's a guy in a latex mask. It's super obvious it's a guy in a mask. And also the guy is not naturally intimidating. And it's just kind of awkward to see him try to be scary. And also Krampus talks a lot, which I don't have a problem with. I just wish if Krampus talked that the mouth would move. That's not great. I half expected there to be a twist where Krampus wasn't real and was just a guy in a mask. But the movie is not that clever. It's just a bad costume. But whatever. The sister gets a phone call from the police, and the police will tell her that her brother committed suicide, and she's going to be very sad, as you would be. And she goes and tells all her friends, and the friends decide, well, what if for Christmas, instead of doing what we were going to do, let's go to your brother's home. And to be fair, the one good part of the movie is they shoot it at a house that was a church and got converted. And the house looks really cool. England's got some nice old churches. Use those to your advantage. It's just a shame the rest of the movie isn't great. As I said earlier, a lot of this is going to be crying about the brother's death. And yeah, you would be sad if your brother committed suicide, but it's just a stock drama pull. It's just a weighty topic that they can bring out and talk to you about for 70 or so minutes. And how you know it's stock and cliche drama is because it never changes or progresses. They're just going to talk about how sad they are, and nothing's going to come out of it and nothing's going to change. In fact, the drama is so cliched that when I saw the main girl's boyfriend alone with another girl, even though nothing happens in that scene, I knew they were going to be having an affair because that is another drama trope to pull out just for the sake of pulling it out. For real, the affair subplot doesn't go anywhere. Like, you think it would pay off in some way to the story, but you could take it out and miss nothing. They just needed more stuff to talk about because they needed to hit that runtime. In addition to things going nowhere, she talks about how her parents were like from the old country and how they had strange religious beliefs, and that probably has something to do with why Krampus is showing up. But what is it? Who knows? This plot is never elaborated on, even with this scene where she reads from a big long passage of the book. She finds a book and there's no cuts. She's just sitting there reading it to the camera. And nothing happens, and I still don't really feel like I know anything about Krampus, why he's here, and who does he have to kill? Because he kills randos too, not just his family. I don't know, it's lazy. And likewise, the kills are also lazy. Krampus has a magical knife, I guess? I don't know. But he'll use like an axe that he finds or a shotgun. He really acts more like a slasher character than he does Krampus, which I wouldn't mind because I like slashers too, but the kills are lazy. Swing the weapon at the camera, maybe you'll get a little blood if you're lucky. There's no spectacular kills here. It's a lazy slasher movie that, even though it's not great, you'll be grateful for when it happens because it interrupts the long blocks of stock drama that goes nowhere, and at least someone dies. Even again, if this Krampus is shockingly not intimidating, at least if more characters die, that means we're closer to the end of the movie. And while I won't spoil the end of the movie for you, I will say it is over shockingly quickly. Turns out Krampus is super easy to beat, and the movie's just going to end abruptly. Cool. Like I said, this really isn't a good Krampus movie. I don't know if there are any other than the Mike Dougherty one. Again, leave me those recommendations. I would love to know if one of them was good, but I can't really recommend this at all. Super boring. Nothing happens. Just a slog to get through. Yeah, it's a no from me. Anyway though, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Christmas playlist where you can see me talk about a bunch of Christmas movies. The original Krampus, some of the mockbusters, Terrifier 3, Silent Night, Deadly Night. There's a lot of reviews for movies in here, so if you want to see more, you can click right there to see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist here. Have a good day now.